Hello, everybody, and either welcome or welcome back to my podcast. As per usual, I want to remind everybody to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So, Syria. Poor, war-torn, beleaguered, can't catch a break Syria is back in the news because allegedly on Saturday, Assad, without any kind of apparent provocation, allegedly decided to launch a chemical attack. Some say it was chlorine gas, some say it was sarin gas, on his own people. Now, I've got some questions about this, and to kind of set it up, I want to kind of present a timeline to kind of give context to this attack. Basically, what has been going on in Syria is Assad has been very diligently getting ISIS out of Syria, which is not for entirely altruistic purposes. Basically, Assad views ISIS as a threat to his regime in Syria, so he has been getting rid of ISIS as one does when one runs a regime and they feel like somebody's a threat. But he's actually been pretty successful at it. Everybody seems to agree on the 90% number of that's how much of Syria is now ISIS free. So he's got about another 10% to go, making pretty good progress on that. And then Donald Trump also made mention of possibly pulling out of Syria, of getting our troops out of Syria. So, on the backdrop of this, of Assad almost having everything he wants, he's about to have who he views as an actual threat to his regime, i.e., ISIS, and an existential threat to his regime, i.e., the US, out of Syria. He then decides to gas his own people. Like, you guys understand where that doesn't make any sense at all, right? Like, why would Assad, when he's right on the doorstep of having everything he wants, complete control of Syria, the US out of Syria, why in the world would you go launch an unprovoked chemical attack on your own people? It makes no fucking sense. And if something doesn't make any sense, then you got to start asking questions about, does this story even hold up? And just for the record, at the time of this recording, nobody has offered any kind of substantial proof that it was Assad's forces that carried out this attack. I've not seen any eyewitness reports. I've not seen any pictures. I've not seen any video. I've not seen anybody on the ground specifically finger the Assad regime as being the ones who launched this chemical attack. So, little sketchy to me, but of course that's not stopping the media from completely running with this story. But actually, on that note, if you think that you've heard this one before, you have. This time, last year, exact same story. Donald Trump said they wanted to pull out of Syria. Bada boom, bada bing, not even a week later, chemical attack. Everybody loses their shit. We bomb Syria. That's some lazy warmongering right there. Like, you can't just keep writing the same paper and passing it off. You didn't even come up with a new story. You used the same recycled one from last year. That's lazy right there. I mean, come on, at least make up like a new reason why we need to go into Syria and overthrow Assad. Don't recycle the same one from last year. That's some bullshit right there. I do, however, find it a little interesting that every time Trump has mentioned pulling out of Syria, this happens, and I don't think Assad is one to make the same mistake twice. So, not to get tinfoil hatty here, but I got some questions about who's actually doing this and why. It serves Assad no purpose to do this at this time. It served him no purpose to do it last year. I don't see it. I got some questions that I doubt will ever get answered, but it just doesn't pass the smell test for me. I don't see Assad doing this once, let alone doing it twice, and not when he's right on the doorstep of having complete consolidated control over Syria. You don't call attention to yourself, both through the international community responding to this, and also internally within Syria, because you know ISIS is going to use this as a recruitment tool to try to gather more troops to start taking back territories that Syria has already won back. It just blows my mind that anybody would just accept this as fact with no no backing, and a very dubious story that you've already heard once before to begin with. But since we know that the mainstream media is not one to let facts get in the way of their agitprop, they've decided to just go balls out on this. And it's across the board, which is frightening. Everybody knows that bipartisanship never brings about anything good. But the one thing that you can always get the media to agree about, left or right, is war porn. Which, can I ask, what is the media's weird boner for war porn? Like, all of a sudden, every time something like this happens, all of a sudden we have to go to war. We have to send troops. We have to bomb the country. We have to make them pay for this. Which, what? Like, why are y'all so weird about this? It's like they like war. Almost as if it's good for ratings or something. I'm not sure. But it seems to be the general consensus amongst the media that we have to go do something. We have to go fight Assad. We have to go fight in Syria. There have, however, been 3 notable exceptions in the media. Tucker Carlson, which I'm sure everybody at this point has seen the opening monologue where he spills all the tea about why we need to not go to Syria. But also, Tomi Lahren and Sarah Palin also don't support going into Syria, which I'm not mad, and you're right, but the stance that both of them have taken is the one of, why do we need to send troops to Syria? Which, again, I ain't mad, but when did Tomi and Sarah become non-interventionalists? Like, if there was going to be an argument that either one of them would make, that would not have been the one I would have expected. But hey, it's weird, pickings are slim, I'll take the allies I can get. And, of course, can't forget Dave Smith. He's always out there agitating for why we need not to go to Syria, so can't forget about Dave. Actually, Dave deserves his own round of applause because he's out here doing the Lord's work on S.E. Cup's show. I don't know how he does it. I don't think I would ever have the temperament to do that, but God bless him. Keep up the good work, dude. But back to the pro-war everybody but libertarians at this point. Y'all are special. Like, why in the world? It's rare that you would see anybody in the media like actually back anything that Trump would want to do. And the fact that it's him going to war in Syria is the thing that you guys are going to back him on, that's a little creepy. Y'all got some weird fetishes, and y'all weird. And it's, no. The way to combat pictures of dead babies is not to create a situation where we're going to have more pictures of dead babies. Stop it. You know this idiot gets all his news from the television, and that's what influences him. Stop trying to tell the man to go drop bombs places. You know he's going to fucking listen to you. Stop it. And on the topic of, we need to go do something, why? No, we don't. I mean, outside of saying, hey, that was a dick move, we really don't need to do anything. Like, even if you buy into the idea that Assad did launch this chemical gas attack on his own people, what exactly does that have to do with us? Why would we need to have a military response to that? He didn't attack our citizens. He didn't attack U.S. citizens in Syria. Why would we need to go bomb a country? Why would we need to go put boots on the ground in a country where nothing was done to us? Like, I get it. Atrocities happen. Everybody wants to do something, but the something in question here is not something that's even remotely in proportion to what happened, at least from a U.S. interest. Not to mention, every time we've felt the need to go do something in the Middle East, it's not ended very well for the countries that we decided that we needed to go help. I mean, you can go ask Libya about that. You can go ask Iraq about that. You can even go ask Iran about that. Every time we go into a country in the Middle East, when and if we leave it, it's in a worse condition than it was when we got there. So can we please not do that to Syria? I mean, they've been through enough. Like, Syria has been through enough war. I'm pretty sure if you went over and polled 100 Syrians, you would get 100% response rate of, yes, we would like less war. No, we do not want more war. No, we do not want you to bomb us. No, we do not find this to be helpful for us. Please don't do that. And for fuck's sake, unless you have a really, 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 really good option on deck, do not do regime change in Syria. Do not get rid of Assad. Not saying he's a great person, am saying he's a dictator, has done some horrific things, but as it stands in Syria right now, if you got rid of Assad, the next man up is ISIS. And you may think Assad's bad. You want to see a country under ISIS rule? No. Nobody wants that. Please do not go over there and create a power vacuum the same way you did in Libya and make God knows who run in and try to run this country. Leave Assad alone right now. Like I said, unless you've got a very, very good option on deck. And even then, just don't do regime change at all. Just don't stop. It's not our business to go over to other countries and fix their governments. It's their responsibility. It's not ours. Like I said, it never ends well when we do it. So can we please just stop doing that? And also, can we take this lesson and spread it out further to places like, oh, I don't know, North Korea? However, there is one thing that the US can do that would help Syrians. And it's so easy. It's one step. It's one step. And I'm going to tell it to you right now. Are you ready? You ready for it? Let the fucking refugees in. Let the refugees in. As it stands right now, obviously everybody knows Syrian refugees are banned from entering into the US. Stop that. Fix that. That would be of more help to Syrians than anything the US military could go to Syria and do. Give these people the opportunity to get the hell out of the country. Not to mention the fact that these people are, or at least should be considered, political refugees. Whether you feel like they're escaping the Assad regime or the ISIS caliphate, these people are political refugees. And for most of the time that I've been on this planet, the US has made a policy of accepting in political refugees from countries that we view to be totalitarian dictatorships. This is what we've always done. I don't know why all of a sudden we have to stop because these people are brown and those other people weren't brown. Let the Syrian refugees in. And that goes double for if, God forbid, we do decide to go bomb Syria or start putting boots on the ground. Don't make this a situation where you're going to go further fuck up a country and not even allow those people to get out of that country and come to this one. The Syrian refugee crisis is already monumental. I mean, not just here, obviously, because they can't come in here. In the countries surrounding Libya, it's millions upon millions upon millions of people that are trying to get out of Syria. And a nice thing for us to do would be, especially if we're going to go bomb Syria, is to let those people into our country, not only for their sake, but also try to ease some of the burden off of those other countries. Ultimately, this all ends up coming down to what is Trump going to do about any of this? And as per usual, on any topic where you would ask that question, the answer is, who the fuck knows? The last dispatch we've gotten from Donald Trump on this topic was a tweet this morning, and I'll read you the tweet. Never said when an attack on Syria would take place. Could be very soon or not so soon at all. In any event, the United States, under my administration, has done a great job of ridding the region of ISIS. Where is our thank you, America? Alright. First of all, dude, this is not the time to be asking anybody thanks for anything right now. You're threatening to bomb a country and you want them to say thank you? No, I think the answer to that would be fuck you. Second of all, just gonna put it out there for you, Trump. You might not want to take responsibility for U.S. troops being in Syria. You might want to still let that be Obama's legacy. And, of course, in total Trumpian fashion, this tweet tells us nothing. I have no idea what the fuck this dude's going to do. The one thing I will say, and I think this might be our saving grace, is, first of all, dude's got the attention of a fruit fly, so God only knows, maybe if we're lucky, something else will come along and distract him and he'll forget all about Syria. Worst case, he'll go full Bill Clinton on us and bomb the shit out of Syria to distract from some Stormy Daniels nonsense. Let's cross our fingers on that. But the other thing is, I don't think Trump really has the stomach for regime change in Syria. I don't think he would do it just because there would be so many people that would give him shit for it, that I don't think he's really got the stones to do it. What Trump wants is to be liked. And going and dispatching troops against what you said on the campaign trail into Syria to effect regime change is going to result in a lot of blowback stateside. Like, just remember all the shit that W took over Iraq? That's going to be Trump in Syria. And I don't think he's really suited for that. Plus, I don't think he really has the high-minded idealism that would cause somebody to really, like, double down and go in on that and try to sell it to people. He's not that guy. He doesn't really have the kind of formed opinions that would be required to go and actually be like, yes, I'm getting rid of Assad. I don't think he really cares that much. Like I said, not saying that he won't go full Billy Jeff on us, but I don't think he's going to go full W on us. Which, alright, it might not be so bad. I mean, it's still bad for Syrians because, honestly, one bomb is worse than no bombs, and God knows how many bombs there will be, and God knows if we put boots on the ground. But at least I don't think it's going to be like Iraq or Afghanistan, or at least I hope not. God knows the last thing we need is another Iraq or Afghanistan. But here's to hoping that cooler heads will prevail, and hopefully he won't watch the wrong fucking anchor on news and get the idea that you need to go into Syria, because obviously this is where dude gets all of his news from, is the cable news, not his actual advisors that he's hired and paid to do this. And to wrap this up, a thought that actually just occurred to me. Is this Trump's first chance to show kind of what he would be like as a president? As in, like, commander-in-chief? I mean, I remember Moab and we did all that, but this is really kind of like the first time he's ever really had to make a strategic military decision. I wonder how this is going to pan out. I wonder who he's going to listen to. I wonder who's going to finally get his ear. I know it's not going to be an anti-war libertarian. I know. One can dream. But this might end up being actually somewhat interesting, depending on who he actually listens to. Not to say that this needs to be like some kind of thought experiment where Syria is the victim, but maybe, just maybe, if the right person gets his ear, this may not be so bad. Like, it'll still be bad, but maybe not as bad as it could possibly be if other people got his ear. Looking at you, Bolton. Okay, so to sum up my thoughts on all this, I'm not buying this chemical gas attack story. I am a little, well, not even a little, a whole lot leery that the mainstream media is using this very, very sketchy, very unsourced, very uncorroborated story to try to push for war in a country. I'm a little worried about what Trump is going to do. There's plenty of ways that we could help Syria in a more humanitarian way, such as letting their refugees in. No, we do not need to go put boots on the ground, and no, we do not need to bomb Syria, because that's not our problem. We do not need to get involved with it. And yeah, that's about it. Let's not end up with any more dead people. I don't want any more dead Syrians. I don't want any dead US troops. So if we could just, not do any of that, that would be great. And oh yeah, please don't overthrow Assad. Not that he's a great person, but again, like I said, ISIS is the next man up. So let's not create a power vacuum where ISIS gets to run a country. Alright, that about sums this up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I also remind you guys, as always, rate, comment, subscribe. I'm on iTunes, I'm on Google Play, I'm on Stitcher. Take care, and until next time.